Okay, where are you? Nope, not there. Not there either. I'm looking everywhere, trying to find spring, but she's missing in action. So today I'm going to walk through 3 May gardening tips for an unseasonably cold spring so far. And as we get started here, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave those down in the comments. I start every one of my days having a cup of coffee, sitting on the couch, and answering every question. So you'll get a response from me super quickly. And so for myself, located in zone 7B, May really is transplant month. It's when all these babies here that are growing so well make their way into the garden. But with the unseasonably cold weather that we've had thus far, I don't want to be rushing them out there into the garden. And on top of that, I really want to make sure that they're prepared for any last cold snaps that we might get. So the first May gardening tip is to do an extended hardening off process. And what I mean by this is rather than sticking to our standard 7-day hardening off process, which you can watch at the link up above, is that I'm leaving the plant babies outside for the whole day, but then bringing them back inside each evening until the weather gets to those desired nighttime temperatures of at least 8 Celsius for our cooler weather crops and 10 Celsius for our warmer weather crops. So all of the seedlings that I started this season, I've been doing an extended hardening off process for. So these babies here, I've been bringing them outside now for about 7 days, and we're finally getting a little bit of warmth and sun. It feels so good, but I know that there's still more rain and cold weather in the forecast. So by the time that I actually end up transplanting them into the garden, they'll likely have been going through a hardening off process for 15 to 20 days, somewhere in there, which means I think that they'll just be really prepared and ready for that intensity and variability of the garden. But one surprising thing that I've been absolutely loving is just the process of bringing them out each morning, bringing them back inside each evening. It's really been so nice to be feeling a little bit of spring and that I'm spending more time outdoors opposed to just inside in the seed starting station. So I really encourage you to start kicking into a bit of a extended hardening off process for your plant babies as we get into May. Now let's head over to the tomato cage for our second tip. Alrighty, and so our second May gardening tip here is to build your trellis structures for the upcoming season. And expect to see a number of videos from us on this front over the course of the season and the different options that are available for each of the different types of plants. And so specifically, it is our vine plants, such as our squashes, our tomatoes, our cucumbers, that we're looking to have some form of a trellising structure in place for them to be growing along, as this will allow them to ultimately grow most effectively. So for instance, this structure right behind me here is my tomato cage. And as we get into season, all that I need to do is tie a piece of string to the beams that go across the top and then connect that to the base of a tomato plant. And as the plant begins to grow through the season, all that I need to be doing is weaving it through that string, and it's going to grow vertically opposed to falling over and crawling along the ground. So not only will these trellis structures allow your plants to grow most effectively, but it also will allow them to grow vertically and into new space, which is then saving you as much of your garden space as possible for other plants. So over the course of the month here, keep your eyes peeled for the videos that we're going to be sharing on how to be building trellis structures for your tomatoes, your raspberries, cucumbers, squashes, and more. And so just before we get into our third gardening tip for May here, for those of you that I have not met before, I'm Jordan from Mind and Soil, where we're looking to introduce 1 million individuals to mindful gardening. So if you're looking for more peacefulness, more calmness, more joy and restoration in your life, then I really encourage you to subscribe to our channel here, because we put out new videos just like this one every single week to be helping take as much of the guesswork out of gardening as possible so that you can be more quickly and readily tapping into its mental health benefits. And so our third May gardening tip here is to buy seedlings. And so I know that we've started a whole bunch of plants indoors over the course of the last several months, but take my rosemary as an example, it died over the course of this season. And then say take my pepper plants, they got infested with some aphids. And then my basil, well, I just didn't get around to starting it. So as you begin to transplant into your garden and you notice that maybe some plants have died over the course of the winter, or you didn't get around to starting certain seeds, or maybe there's just a plant that you're really curious and fascinated to try out, then I really encourage you to head to your local nursery this season and grab some seedlings to round out that garden and get it nice and complete and full for the upcoming season. Now, one last thing just before you take off here is that if you've enjoyed this video, I would absolutely love to invite you to our next happy hour. And so if you're interested in attending this, there is a link in the description here that you can click on to be notified for when we have our next happy hour. We do these on a once per month basis where we get together and we present on a particular topic, but even more so than that, it's hundreds of gardeners all across the world at this point that believe in gardening's mental health benefits that are coming together, sharing the highs and the lows and what's going on in their gardening season this year. So I would absolutely love to have you on board for our next happy hour. Again, the link is down in the description to be notified for when that's coming up. Other than that, folks, if you have any questions, leave those down in the comments and you'll get a response from me super quickly. Otherwise, go get those hands dirty, and I can't wait to catch you on the next video. See you soon.